Senator Chuck Schumer ready to accuse Republicans of a cover-up. It's another huge week on Capitol Hill. House Democrats are preparing a historic vote on impeachment. And then over in the Senate, Chuck Schumer says a trial won't be fair unless Republicans give into his demands on witnesses. Other Democrats are ramping up the rhetoric even further, claiming that if President Trump is not impeached, the 2020 election itself could be compromised.
We cannot take the risk that the next election will be corrupted through foreign interference solicited by the president, which he is clearly trying to do.
He withheld hundreds of millions of dollars to coerce an ally, betray our national security, and try to cheat in the next election.
If the Senate Republican majority refuses to discipline him through impeachment, he will be unbounded. And I am gravely concerned about what else he might do between now and the 2020 election.
And House Democrat Jeff Van Drew feeling the wrath of his own party. It comes after Van Drew said he is becoming a Republican because of impeachment. Watch.
What he's reacting to is a public polling that shows he can't get renominated.
To turn and go to be a Republican, it's kind of strange. It's kind of, you know, I've heard of rats jumping off a sinking ship, but very few of them jump onto a sinking ship. The lowest thing that there is in the Congress is somebody in the minority side who was a traitor to the majority.
Jesse, I was thinking today, Speaker Pelosi was quite reluctant to do impeachment, and I think that she could read the political tea leaves, and it's turning out that she was right, and her instincts initially were right. But now Chuck Schumer has to deal with this in the Senate, and he is suggesting that Mitch McConnell would be involved in a cover-up if they don't do what they want.
Yeah, do what I say or else you're guilty of a cover-up. Who cares what Chuck wants? He lost. He's a hypocrite. They've been so ruthless this whole time. We're not going to bend over backwards after they've treated the Republicans so unfairly. The whole thing to say that Trump has rigged past election and is rigging future election, that is a lie told by losers. They can't win, so they have to spin. These are now election birthers. Anytime a Republican wins an election, it's some vast Republican-Russian conspiracy. The Republicans haven't even begun a Senate trial, and they're being accused of rigging it. But the Republicans should ask Democrats how to rig stuff, because the Democrats are pretty good at it. Hillary rigged the primary against Bernie. She tried to rig the general against Trump by paying for foreign interference in an election with the dossier. The witch hunt was rigged, 17 liberal lawyers. I believe the midterms are rigged because Mueller knows there's no collusion, but he lets the dark cloud of Russia hang over that election. And then they rigged this hearing in the dark by a whistleblower, Schiff colluding. It's ridiculous. And I brought charts, Dana.
I love charts.
And graphs I'd like to share because I know that's the only thing Juan listens to. 538, a guy named Nate Silver. Liberals trust him. This guy's supposedly legit to you. His approval rating, the president, at 44%. And that's a percentage higher than when this whole impeachment thing started, and higher than Barack Obama's was at this term in his presidency. Impeachment nationally for the first time is underwater, according to the Real Clear Politics average, which I have right here. And then my favorite chart, this. And I've been saying this for a long time. The people don't care about impeachment. They care about football. These are the searches in search engines in Pennsylvania, battleground state, the last month. Everyone's searching for the Eagles and the Steelers. No one is searching for impeachment.
Can you do that for any? You can plug in anything in there?
I didn't plug in. I just copied it from someone else.
Greg, what do you think about Nadler, who did the Judiciary Committee, saying that Schiff is correct? President Trump's campaign research into Biden is a total threat to the 2020 election.
No, it's the language, right? Cover-ups, traitors. Again, it reveals the Democrats' constant, love of overreach and exaggeration. And it always, without fail, results in an overcorrection, right? If you look at the Tea Party, if you look at 2016, if you look at Covington, if you look at Kavanaugh, the Dems are the masters of overkill, and it always blows up in their face. Even if you look at, the dossier, it's like a die pack. Remember the die packs?
Yeah.
The guy, robs the bank, they put it into the bag of money, and then they get home and they open it up and it explodes. Dossier, like almost everything in the Democratic political life, is a die pack. They think that they got all the money, that they get home and it blows up in their face. But I'm a nice person, Dana. I want to give them advice.
Okay.
I think that they should change the narrative and let go of the outrage speak. I think that we have been Greta Thunberg to death for well before she was born. This has been going on for years, and we're guilty of it. The left and right are both guilty of outrage speak. But I think we're realizing the end of it when people are noticing that the louder the noise is in the media, the quieter reality is.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't get much better than this economy. We know that. We have peace. It seems like our troops are coming home. People are able to search for things because they're not worried about other things. So life is pretty good. But the better life gets, the louder and screechier the media gets. And that's got to tell you that there's something emotionally wrong with this attitude. And I want to help them because I'm a helper.
Juan, so the polling for the Democrats isn't great. They haven't changed anybody's minds. Not the Republicans have changed a lot of minds either, but it's definitely not going in the Democrats' direction. Do you think that they regret heading down this road in the first place?
Well, let me just say first, and the most important point that Jesse raised, is that as a Skins fan, I thought we had that game won with 4 minutes to go. And if I was in Pennsylvania, I would have been searching for the Eagles, too, because, I mean, I wouldn't have searched for my team.
Well, I think we should really take a moment here because Juan just said Skins.
Yeah, that's
no, but he didn't say Redskins.
I didn't say that. I did not say
Washington
that.
football team.
Washington football team. That's what I said.
Right.
But here's the thing. One, when you've got Rudy Giuliani still over in the Ukraine, you might think, I wonder if he's still trying to influence the 2020 race the way that they tried to influence the Russians and the 2016 race. It sounds to me like, why would Trump allow Rudy Giuliani to go back there and give the opponents, the Democrats, fodder?
Because they think it's right.
Exactly that claim.
Because they think it's right. It's not. They're not hiding anything.
I see. Yeah,
they're not hiding anything.
Because they're stupid. Okay. The second point to be made to Jesse is this. We have a new Fox News poll that says half the nation still favors not only impeaching, but removing.
The same as 2 months ago.
So what you have is, I think, as Dana pointed out, there's not much mind changing. You go up or down about 4 or 3 points in either direction, but half the country wants him impeached and half the country doesn't. I don't think a whole lot has changed on that front. But I do think that we can agree, I think everybody at this table can agree, Fox poll is a good poll. The president doesn't like it, but it's a very good poll.
I don't trust any poll.
I think the people who are freaking out and losing momentum are the people who are, is his name Donald Trump, making fun of Nancy Pelosi's teeth, picking on a 16-year-old girl, tweeting a record
This is my point. It's horrific. These tweets are horrific.
Yeah.
No, they're not. You got to ratchet. If you can ratchet back your hysteria, people might actually trust you when you're critical of Trump.
But he's the one who's acting in a hysterical manner.
No, those tweets are hilarious.
No, he's acting like Donald Trump, and this is the Trump that we've known since before he even declared his candidacy for the Republican nomination. You know, when somebody gets loud, you know what that means? They're desperate. They sound desperate and they look desperate. To Nadler and Schiff's point, they don't have a constitutional right to try and do a preemptive impeachment to stop an act that the president might do, as the Wall Street Journal editorial page has pointed out. They're using scare tactics. By the way, what Chuck Schumer's doing, he doesn't want to call in these witnesses, and he's actually calling out Nancy Pelosi for not doing her job by saying, we don't know what evidence these witnesses would present. It might be exculpatory or incriminating. He's basically saying Pelosi has fallen down on what she was supposed to do.
Yeah, that's why I was wondering about the Schumer having now to deal with this.
And scare tactics, if they're going to use scare tactics, you know what? Real rats are scary, not the kind that Congressman Cohen talks about. Terrorism is scary. Clowns are scary, and people with cold sores, that's scary.
Hey, look, it went away, Kagan, and we shook hands. Can I add something to Juan brought up the polls, and there's two things we have to remind people. The people sampled were skewed towards Democrats.